Hey everybody. Looks like we're going to go live here. Had a little difficulty getting signed in and stuff, but I think we're good to go now. Okay. We'll wait for a few more people to show up. Okay, we'll start in just a minute here. I just have to put some stuff on the content there if I can find it. First live stream ever, so I'm not quite sure what I'm doing yet, and I'm doing it all by myself here. So I will get it set up in a second here. Okay. I'm trying to add the link so you can download these files. If this is correct. Okay, let me see here. Okay, we're trying to get this set up here. We'll get started in a second. Okay, I think I found it. Okay, I'm going to add Okay, I should have just add the content to download the files on the page there. I believe. Let me just double check. And I'll put it in the chat there too. Yeah, so you can just click that in the chat. Okay. All right, so let's take a quick listen to the song here. I'm going to make sure I'm set up in the right. I'm going to take this buffer size and move it up to 1024 so I don't have any issues. That other 64 setting was for tracking. This is for mixing. Okay, let's just take a quick listen to what I had on there, and let's take a listen to this track real quick. And if somebody could let me know if the audio is going okay or not, that'd be great. Let's play a small portion of the song. This is the original mix. We're going to remix it, change some things on the drums, and we're going to try to keep some elements from the original mix yet.
Come on, yeah. You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and
This is the original mix that we're going to use as a reference track.
you
We're gonna change some things on it though.
I'm impressed, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You have quite the little covert. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, you gotta tell me, was this just on a sick job? Now can you see me through all of your gun smoke? Quick draw, you wave your gun.
Okay, that was the original mix that I had done. Gonna remix it right now with y'all. So we'll see how long this takes. I'm not generally a fast mixer, but I have mixed this one before, so I kind of know what I'm getting into. And I tracked all these basically in the room that I'm in right now. So all the drums, the guitars, the bass. I actually had another guy track at his location, he sent them back to me. So the bass was the only thing not tracked in my studio here. And this is all about home studio recording and how to get a professional sound in your home studio, which I know a lot of you do. And this is all going to be very preference based when it comes to mixing. But what I want to do is change the kick sound for sure and the drum sound just a little bit on this mix, and then keep some of the original mix elements in there. So let's listen to what the raw tracks sound like. We won't listen to too much. And before I do that, I'm going to bypass the verbs and the tom verb and things like that, because that sends extra signal out. There's no processing on any of this yet. Okay? So what I'm going to do is do this like that. Okay, so no processing at all. And this is what the track sounds like raw. Everything's set at unity right now. I do have all my aux tracks set up already. Okay, so that is the raw session here. So what I'm going to do here is select all of these tracks, and then I'm going to pull these faders down a little bit because we got some unevenness going on. So I'm going to pull them down to about -20. And then I'm going to go back over here to my master out and push Alt on my keyboard and click that, and that will take it to 0. And I will do the same thing with my submix and go to 0 there. And then when I mix, I usually start from the bottom and go up, but we're going to start with the drums here. And I am going to solo, and I'm going to group those. So I'm going to click all those drums, and I'm going to go Control G. That'll give me, hold on here. I got a different keyboard here, so it's my other keyboard went out on me, so I'm using a different one that I'm not used to. So let me see if I can get this right here. So what I want to do is, okay, what am I doing wrong here? Shift E. Let me see if my other keyboard works real quick. The battery was going dead on it, so let's just check it. Let's do okay, I don't know why that's not working. I'm going to use this other keyboard as long as I can. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we got the drums set up. We'll just label this drums. Click OK. And then we'll solo these up. And we'll raise the volume up here a little bit. And we got to get the aux channel. So that was recorded in this room that I'm sitting in, and what I have here is a kick sample on there as well. So let me pull the kick sample out, and what I was going after when I originally had the idea for this song was a 70s classic rock, Zeppelin-y meets modern day rock. So that's kind of the vibe that I was going for, down to everything from the drum sound to the guitar sound. So let's take the sample out of there. That's what the kick sounded like, very 70s kind of sounding. But then I added a sample in, which is that. Okay, so let's get the level set here so we can get a mix going. So pull these overheads down a little bit. Also have a snare sample. This is the sample. It's a Keplinger sample from the Slates setup there, and then this is the snare. It back a little bit. Got this room mic. Tambourine. Now we're going to bring some bass in. Bring some guitars in. Little Tom Sawyer keyboard thing there. Yeah, start it over. Do have some add-in cymbals there. That's why they were so loud. Let's try that again. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the clip gain on the vocals and then turn that up a little bit. They're a little quiet, and it looks like somehow, let's go here. I have a fade on all those vocals. I must accidentally hit the fade on the and we don't want that, so let's go to volume. Let's go to and maybe that was a wave. There we go. And what we want to do is raise the clip gain a little bit on these. Listen to that come in.
Hey. Come on, yeah. Tips and chips, shop for me, baby. Get low and play me like a guitar. Take my heart and toss it up. Shot it down, I did instead of prayer. Round one, go to my I'm impressed, and boy, you did your homework. You knew right when my time was. You had quite the little cover. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, you gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke? Now can you see me?
I'm going to jump over to the original mix and show you where it was at.
Quick draw, you wave your guns in the air. So hard, I swear I got a fever. Gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round two goes to me now. Load a gun, I'm ready to show ya just how to light up a doublet. Step it off and let me pull the trigger. You gotta tell me, was this just all a big joke? Now can you see me through all of your gun smoke? You think that I am another person? Realize to give your bad boys your room. Can't give you no room.
Okay, now I think what I'll do is start putting on processing on the. Now that I got a rough balance set up, and nothing's balanced, it's just where I hear things going to. There's gonna be a loud gunshot here.
You gotta tell me, was this just all a big joke? Now can you see, that?
Okay, let's do something with these drums. Okay, somehow I actually did a fade. I think when I was trying to get the group set up, it actually created a fade within the mix on all of my files here. So what I'm going to do is go select all and get rid of these fades. Not sure why it did all that, but it's not wanting to change that one. Okay. All right. New keyboard's supposed to be here tomorrow. So anyway, let's just click save on that. Let me pull the samples out. The original kick by itself is a little weak, so what I'm going to do here is, I'm not a purist, so I don't mind using samples if I have to, or processing, any type of processing, so I'm not really a purist. But having said that, when it comes to drums, I like to use the original as much as possible. But for the sound I'm going after, I'm not going to be able to do that with this mix. So let's put a plug-in on here, and I'm going to go for my, well, what I'm going to do here first is put, I'm going to push Alt right here, and I'm going to put the Pro Q3 plug-in on here as my first, and that will take it and put it all the way across my session on all my channels. So I'll have that on everything. I may not use it on everything, but it'll be there. The next one I'm going to do is come down here and put, pushing Alt, and then I'm going to come over here and put, where are you? The BX SSL 4000E. We'll use that. That one's loading a little slower. I don't need them on the click, so I'm going to take those off. So we'll take that off here. Okay, and there is the, this is the original kick drum. So what I'm going to do is take that out of solo and then just do the kick and the snare together so I can hear something. And then I'm going to add the bass since we're working with those lower frequencies. And the sample's not in right now. I'm going to bring a little bit of the snare sample in though. What I'm going to do is go big boost there on the low end. What I'm going to do is take everything from 40 and filter that out, maybe 50. And going to go up here to the compression, turn the threshold up a little bit. Still on that kick there. Now I'm going to pull the low end down. It's getting a little too much. too is also, I'm going to pan the guitars. Opens up that center a little bit for that kick drum. I'm going to bring in the sample. Okay, what I'm going to do here too is mess with the panning on the drums. What I want to do is keep working on the drums here, and we are going to go to a place where the drum toms come in. Right about there. So let's tighten that in a little bit. We're in slip mode. Okay, want to get a little more, take some of the boxiness out and then add a little more bottom and a little bit of snap to that tom. Make it come alive. Now what I might do here is search for a frequency here that is ugly. I might copy this over. We'll go with that. Okay. Let's go back to here. Let's work with this sample a little bit. what I did there is I just turned up the gain on the WAV file there to get a little more signal from that. Okay, what I want to do is just listen to the intro of the original.
Hey, come on, yeah.
Listen to that snare. Let's make sure we don't have any phasing going on those kick drums. Let's just check that. Oh, that's off there. There we go. So they're good. So want a little more snap on that, and we'll get it with this snare, but I'm combining the two. Okay. See, if I take either one of those snares away, the sample or the original, it loses something. Just take a listen here. I'm going to mute the sample. Okay. All right. So I think we'll work with that on the snare. Now, I'm not spending too much time on these things. Sometimes I grapple when I'm not doing a live video. Sometimes I grapple with sounds, and what I've kind of learned is sometimes we just make mountains out of molehills as mixers, and we don't move on. And we can spend a day just working on the drum set. So I'm moving fairly quickly. And things may change as we bring in more stuff, but this is where we're at so far. So let's get the overheads. This is the ride. Copy that one over to the ride side. That original snare
Now the student
was a
turns
little too much low end after I re-listened to it. And once we get verb on there, that snare will stand out even more. What I want to do with this room mic is totally crush it. So we'll come down here to the CLA 76. We'll leave everything else alone.
Now can you see me?
Come over here and add a little snap on that original kick. A little more. About 6.
Quick draw and wave your guns in the air. So hard, I swear I gotta be there. Demon sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round 2 goes for me now. Load a gun, I'm ready to show ya just how to light up a dubbin. Step it off and let me pull the trigger.
Now I have nothing set on the aux bus for the drums or the submix. In fact, I'm not going to use those for the submix. Take those out. Actually, I'll leave the Pro Q3 there. And so I have nothing on my bus groups at all yet, except for the plugins that I put across the board, but there's nothing engaged on them. In fact, I'm going to take these out. And I'm going to put on my favorite bus compressor for drums right now. It used to be the FG Red, which I still use quite a bit. But right now, my favorite is the BX Townhouse bus compressor from Plugin Alliance. This gives it a little gritty and pulls that kick forward quite a bit.
Hey.
Go with a lower ratio threshold. You can see I'm not doing much. Just taking maybe a dB off. If I want to take a little more off, do that. Maybe attack up a little bit. Just pulls things forward on that drum set. There's bypass. There is on. Okay, let's add a little verb to that. I'm going to hit Control Save or Command Save, whatever you're using there. And I'm going to put the EQ after the verb in case I want to do something with that. And we may put an EQ on the bus, the drum bus, but right now we're just going to leave it as is. I'm not really a top-down mixer, even though I'm starting to enter some of that by putting stuff on the buses, but it's not, for me, I don't consider that top-down. I work my way up from the bottom because I want to try to get the sounds as close as possible without having the buses to affect the sound until I'm pretty close to what I'm wanting. So here we go to the reverb, and I'm going to use, actually what I'm going to use is the T-Rax CSR plate here on the drums. I have a bunch of reverbs, some really good ones, and then these are pretty underrated. Once you learn them, they're really good to use. So We're going to start with the snare. Is that where I put it on? The snare or the toms? So snare verb. So let's pull that snare verb down and come over here to the snare. And I'm going to pull that fader back just a little bit. So let's take a listen to that.
Hey, oh yeah.
There is the snare verb. Let's bypass that. Tighten up the time a little bit. Let's go into the advanced levels. Okay, so I'm looking here. Input, output, mix is fine. Okay, I want to go to time. Reverb time. Tighten that up a little bit. Take the high frequency down. Pull that high frequency out of that verb out a little bit. Come over here to the reverb size 14. I want to make that a little bit bigger. The color is just more high frequency cutoff or low frequency cutoff. There. Let's hear it in the context of the mix.
Gleaming sun shining right on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round two, go for me now. Load a gun, I'm ready to show you just how to light up a gun.
There's the sample. There's the original. Okay, what I'm going to do is pull the snare verb over to the send over to the sample and see what that does.
Hey,
Now that's all done to taste, so you may hear it different, but again, the WAV files are available for you over in over here to the sign up form there. You can hit that link and get the files if you want them, and you can mix this yourself, but there we are for that. Verb and no verb. Just a little bit.
hey. Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's give some attention to the bass. We'll come back and revisit things, but we need to keep moving here.
Hey. Oh, yeah.
So really pushing 2.5 dB at about 700 hertz really gets it to stand out a little bit. Try some top end up there. Now what I want to do is add some distortion on here, and I got a few of those, but let's see here. Let's go with the decapitator. Move up here in the mix. Bypass the distortion on here. Want to see what happens?
Quick draw and wave the guns in the air. So hard, I swear I gotta beat that. Gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round two, go me now. Load a gun, I'm ready to show ya.
I'm not sold on the bass sound yet, but we'll come back to that. We're going to keep moving.
Stepping off and letting me pull the trigger.
Here's the original. So added some harmonics and some distortion on there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this track here. I'm going to come over here and duplicate it because I'm going to probably have a dry signal and a wet signal coming through. I'm going to keep the inserts off, keep the sends the same. So there, now we have two. One thing I didn't really mess with the hi-hat as I'm listening here. I usually do drummer's perspective. That's just a choice that I make. You can certainly do what you want. We'll cut all the lows out. A little bit cleaner sound. That's just a personal choice there too. Hi-hat lead that's catching those hats too, so.
You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke? Now can you
So what I'm going to do, coming back to the drums here, I'm going to take and copy this reverb over to the toms, but I'm going to make the toms a little bit bigger than what we have for the snare. So let's go right here. Oh, that is a cymbal hit, I believe, there. So let's go find the toms. Right here. Okay, so toms. First thing we have to do is make sure that the tom verb is turned on. So we'll go here, unbypass that, and we'll turn it up to about -15 there for tom. Okay. Hit save. So I'm going to turn the channel verb up just a little bit so I can. we'll start there. We may come back to that, but that'll give us something. Let's go to the guitars. Let's go to the intro guitars. And the guitars were recorded with a black Strat that I use, and I did the guitars myself. Let's see, I clicked that up for a reason. And I use my 11 rack, and it's I13 is the channel that I have. I think it's just a Marshall setting. And that was for the intro. Did the same thing, a different channel, I think, for the second guitar. Black Strat, 11 rack, I3, same thing. So use the same sound for that. And then I use a PV Classic 30 for the other track that will be coming up here. And same Black Strat. I use the same guitar. Not sure why, but I did. So this is a mic'd up with a 57, or I don't have notes on here, so I don't know what it's either a 57 or a Vantone CK6, one of the two. This guitar is in the left speaker right now. You know, one thing about the guitars, you know, everybody says to high pass them, you know, like this track, because I'm using a Strat with single coils on it, I'm not getting a lot of low end rumble. So, you know, it's kind of subjective whether we go and take some more low end out of these guitars or not, because they're not really interfering with the kick drum or the bass. But we could just remove the information just to not have it there. But so let's listen to that. Okay, let's so we'll take out about 44. You could tell when that PV comes in, it's got a lot more mid-range than the other guitars. add actually a little more by coming down to that 700, 500, 700 area. So if you're DI guitars or your process or your 11 rack type setup guitars are sounding a little thin, a good place to add a little meat is around that 600 to 700 hertz in there. Find that guitar part. So right there is that part. Let's just loop that. Kind of my little rush lick there. A little chorusy. Now, whether I put compression on the guitars or not will be made, not that they need compression, but more so if I want to change some of the tone to the guitars. So what I'm going to do is come here and actually put on, let's see here. Let's go to, let's use the Townhouse on these two. I just love the grit that the Townhouse has. Let's see if there's a default we can check out for guitars. I'm not sure that there is. Let's just... Nothing really for electric, but let's do edgy master and see where that gets us. Just pulls things forward a little bit. The attack we're going to turn up to about 10 milliseconds. Okay, now let's go to the vocals real quick and let's just check against the mix and see where we're at now compared to the original. Probably not going to sound nearly as processed as the original, but here we go. That's the original. A lot darker sounding so far. That's okay. We haven't done a lot of processing on the bus channels yet, which will get us to the next level. And the vocals. So let's find the vocals, and we'll start with verse 1. And let's just, okay, we did turn that up a little bit. I think that is just a copy. Let's just verify. Yeah, okay. Let's go to verse 1. think on the original session of this, I used the CLA instrument, the vocals, and did that. So let's take a look, listen to the vocals here. I did like the way the vocals turned out on this original.
You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I did instead of
Okay, so let's first thing I'm gonna do is actually turn up the clip gain a little bit more. Get a little more feed going through there.
You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I did instead of prayer. Round one goes to you, my love. I'm impressed, and boy, you did your homework.
First thing I want to do is like this 600 hertz there.
You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I did instead of prayer. Round one.
So what I'm going to do here is actually I'm going to add the Pro MB on here so we can compress those loud ones. And I suppose we could do it with EQ too. But I'm going to have this on here just in case. Oops, got to be in dynamics here. Okay. Right there. And we're going to listen to that again.
You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I did instead of prayer. Round one goes to you, my love. I'm impressed, and boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite a little covert. You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I did instead of prayer. Round one goes to you, my love. I'm impressed, and boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite a little covert. You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I did instead of prayer. Round one goes to you, my love. I'm impressed, and boy, you took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I did instead of prayer. Round one goes to you, my love. I'm impressed, and boy, you did ya.
Right there. I'm just going to clip gain that out of there. So I'm just going to select that. We'll tighten in on it a little bit. And I'm going to take that down.
Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew. Preston, boy, you did your homework. Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew.
There.
Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite a little covert.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that over to there and the EQ as well.
Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was.
I'm going to put down here, I'm going to go and put a CLA2A on here.
Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite a little covert.
copy that over.
Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite.
Okay, we're going to put a de-esser on the very first one here. So let's go to dynamics. And one of my go-to de-essers, and I have several of them, but the R de-esser from Waves is one of my favorites. And let's see here. R de-esser there.
Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little covert. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, you got it. Preston, boy, you did.
You know, we could also take it out with the Pro MB.
Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little covert. Preston, boy.
Right there.
Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right what. Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew. Preston, boy, you did your. Preston, boy, you did your homework. Preston, boy, you did your homework. Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew. Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little covert. Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little covert. Ooh, yeah.
Okay. Let's go Pro MB over to there.
Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little covert. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, you gotta tell me.
Okay, since I'm using the same mic on her except for one channel, I'm going to copy these parameters over and we will see how that goes here. Okay, so we'll do that. Take that one off. And we'll copy, drag that over, drag that one over. Now, I suppose technically I could put everything on this vocal bus here, but the thing is, the way she's singing, it's so dynamic that each channel kind of needs its own settings. So I have a feeling I will come in here and change these, but to start with, we will start there rather than putting all the processing on one bus. And again, if you want, you can actually go download these files over here, go over to the over in the side chat over here and click the link, and you can sign up and get those files, the files that I'm working on right now. So appreciate everybody so far watching, and let's keep moving here. I'm gonna grab a drink.
Preston, boy, you did your homework. Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little covert. Preston, boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little covert. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, you gotta tell me.
Okay, so let's add some verb and delay on here. So one of my go-to verbs for vocals is LX40 complete. Make sure that instantiates. Okay. And then delays. There's a couple different delays I like to use. One is the H delay from Waves, one of my favorites. And we'll try using that for both. I usually use a short delay and a long delay. So not that you have to. You certainly do what you want. Turn the analog off to get the hiss out of there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is turn the short delay up, and let's listen to that. And we're going to start with the main vocal again.
Pressed and boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little covert. Ooh, yeah.
Let's back up a little bit.
One goes to you, my love. I'm impressed and boy, you did your homework. You knew right. One goes to you, my love. I'm impressed and boy, you did your homework. You
Okay. Let's go to the beginning of her vocals.
You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I didn't stand a prayer. Round one goes to you, my love. I'm impressed and boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little covert.
Okay, we're going to turn that feedback down.
You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I didn't stand a prayer. Round one goes to you, my love. I'm impressed, and boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You have quite the little covert. You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I didn't stand a prayer. You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I didn't stand a prayer. Round one goes. You took some cheap shots at me, babe. You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I didn't stand a prayer. Round one goes to you, my love. I'm impressed, and boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You have quite the little covert. You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I didn't stand a prayer.
Yeah, I think that delay will work. And again, that's just a preference thing. There's no hard and fast rules to what you can do. So, in fact, I hate the videos that say the 3 rules of mixing, because really, or the 3 rules of anything really when it comes to mixing, because really there's no rules. So I never understand the rules videos. So I'm not a fan of them. So anyway, there's no rules. Do what you like, do what your listeners like, and go from there. So this helps since I wrote this, co-wrote the song and played the guitars on it. So
you took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I didn't stand a prayer.
And the mic I used on her voice was an Audio-Technica 4033. So it's not a very expensive mic at all. I mean, it's like, I think new it was like $400 or $500, and used you can get them for about $3 maybe, I think.
You took some
here's what
cheap
we've done so
shots at
far.
me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I didn't stand a prayer. Round one goes to you, my love. I'm impressed, and boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You have quite.
Let's find the reverb that we want here.
You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I didn't stand a prayer. Round one goes to you, my love. I'm impressed, and boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite the little covert. Ooh. You took some cheap shots at me, babe. impressed, and boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite a little cover. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So let's work on that. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Oops. So that'd be right about here.
Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ho. 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 You gotta tell. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ho. You gotta tell.
Okay.
You gotta tell me.
So we've been mixing a little over an hour, probably close to an hour and 10 minutes maybe, once I got a few of the bugs worked out. This is my first live video I've ever done, so I've had a few bugs and glitches at the front end, but hopefully, yeah, we're moving along. So let's keep working on the vocal here, and
You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke?
see now the EQ for
You got,
what she was doing on the verse is not really working for this chorus section. So
you gotta
have to-
tell me, was this just all a sick joke? Now can you see me through all of your gun smoke?
okay, let's take the LA2A over.
You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke?
Okay.
You gotta tell me, was this?
So I'm going to take and pan those background vocals left and right.
You gotta tell me, was this just all a s- You gotta tell me, was this just all a s- You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke? You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke? Now can you see me through all of your gun smoke? You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke? You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke? Now can you see me through all of your gun smoke? Quick draw, you wave your guns in the air so hard, I swear I got a fever. Gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round two goes to me now. Load a gun and I'm ready to show ya just how to light up a darker night. Step it off and let me pull the trigger. You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke? Now can you see me through all of your? You gotta tell me.
The vocals are definitely by far the most difficult thing on a track. And sometimes I will actually start with the vocals if they're very, very dynamic. This is a pretty dynamic vocal track because she goes on those verses from really low to jumping up there to high. But yeah, but I usually start with the drums, and then and then sometimes jump to the vocals and skip the other stuff in the middle till those two things are set. Yeah, so let's keep plugging away the vocals.
You gotta tell me, was this just on a sick joke? Now can you see me through all of your gun smoke? Quick draw, you wave your guns in the air so hard, I swear I got a fever. Gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round two goes to me now. Load a gun and I'm ready to show ya just how to light up a darkened night. Step it off.
So what I'm doing with the Pro Q3 on it's the EQ on her voice for the verses is basically making this frequency right here a dynamic frequency, so I can take out some of that low resonant sound without keeping it out the whole time. You know, one of the things with mixing is sometimes we want to cut all these frequencies out in that 2 to 300 range because they can get a little boxy, the 2 to 3 to 4. But sometimes when it's gone, it also sounds empty. So that's something to think about when mixing. And that's not for everything, but certainly for some things.
You gotta tell me, was this just on a sick joke? Now can you see me through all of your gun smoke? Quick draw, you wave your guns in the air so hard, I swear I got a fever. Gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round two goes to me now. Load a gun and I'm ready to show ya just how to light up a darkened night. Step it off and let me pull the trigger.
I'm going to increase the clip gain here. This seems a little quieter than the...
You gotta tell me, was this just on a sick joke? You gotta tell me, was this just on a sick joke?
So that one right there, I'm going to make that a dynamic EQ as well. So when she hits that, it pulls that frequency down a little bit.
You gotta tell me, was this just on a sick joke?
Right there on that joke part there.
You gotta tell me, was this just on a sick joke? You gotta tell me. You gotta tell me, was this just on a sick joke? Now can you see me through all of your gun You think that I am never listen. Realized to give your bad boys your room. Can't give you no room. This ain't a job for Smith and Wesson. But can you hear that click, click, boom? You gotta tell me, was this just on a sick? Can you see? No, can you see that? Guns, yeah. lesson. Realized to give your bad boys your room. Can't give you no room. This ain't a job for Smith and Wesson. But can you hear that click, click, boom? That click, click, boom. You think that I had learned my lesson. Realized to give your bad boys your room. Can't give you no room. This ain't a job for Smith and Wesson. But can you hear that click?
Okay, I'm gonna put a de-esser on there, or the Pro MB.
You think that I
Let's go. Let's just drag this down here.
You think that I had learned my lesson. Realized to give your bad boys your room.
Let's take the Pro MB over. And how I do that in Pro Tools, I don't know if your DAW, you can certainly mix in any DAW and get great results, but in Pro Tools, to drag that over, I just push Alt or Option. I always say Alt, so sorry. Option, and then drag it over. I am using a Mac, so Option and drag it over, and that carries the parameters over and copies everything, basically.
You think that I had learned my lesson. Realized to give your bad boys your room. Can't give you no room.
Takes a little sizzle out.
This ain't a job for Smith and Wesson. But can you hear that click, click, boom? That click, click, boom. You gotta tell me, was this just on a sick? You gotta tell me.
Okay, right here is a swell-in guitar. And we'll turn that up a little bit. Okay, let's throw a little verb on those guitars. And let's see here. Let's use deverb. It's a stock reverb that comes with Pro Tools. And you could put some effects on this to make some crazy effects if you wanted to, but take some of the high frequency out. Let's take the decay out a little bit. Okay, we'll try that, and then let's put some verb Well, I'm going to wait to put verb on the other guitars until I can go back to the beginning. And I want to keep moving towards the end of the song here. Okay, right there is there's a gun cock and a gunshot, so don't be alarmed when you hear this. Okay, so what I want to do with that gunshot, let's go down here. The gun cock is right here before the guitar swell, and the gunshot is afterwards. Just special effects to go in line with the song title of Gunsmoke. The song is actually about working that narcissistic person in your life, not shooting them, but they produce a lot of gun smoke and fog and stuff like that. So, okay, so let's go get the click here first. Let's pronounce that click a little bit more. Here we go, a little more pronounced. Let's get a little more than that. And I want a little reverb on that. So let's go. I don't have a reverb on there yet, so let's go to key verb, which I have set up over here. And I'm just going to use the D verb again. It's quick and easy to use, and you get a good sound out of it. So let's turn this on. Too much. Too much. Okay. Let's label this so I don't forget. I got stuff popping up on my other screen here, so we'll call this key verb. Could call it effects verb because this is an effect. There, we'll start there, and let's go. We'll copy that over to the gunshot sound and see where we're at with that. Take some of the low end out of that. So on the original recording, what I have is the gunshot happening on the left, and then I panned all the way going over to the right, so it's like it's in a canyon. So it's like you hear, it's like an echo in a canyon. So you'll hear it, and then you'll hear it echo to the other side. So I'm not going to do that right now. We're just going to finish this. Too much 4K. Okay, let's just loop that shot there. So let's. By itself, it sounds fine. In the mix, it sounds a little like it needs some work. Put a little compression on there. We'll do a CLA 76. Okay. What'd you do today? I watched this guy mix a song, and he spent 5 minutes on getting this gunshot sound. So we're gonna move along here. On the original track, it sounds like this. Let me pull up that. Let me get it off loop here. You gotta tell me, you gotta tell me, was this just on a signal? Now can you see that guns again? You gotta tell me, was this just on a signal? Okay, let's define those keyboard effects here. Take a listen to them. Just get them to poke a little bit more out. And I think on the original recording, I did pan these from like left to right or right to left as well. So just adding a little more ear tickler into the song. So we got that keyboard sound, a little rushy, a little rush sounding. And what I want to do is pull this over. Draw a little more top end out of that. And what I'm going to do is go to another favorite EQ. My two other favorite EQs are the Sheps 73 from Waves, and then the REQ6 is another favorite. I'm not afraid to use anything. You know, if you get stuck in a rut mixing and you want to get out of a rut, is try a different plugin. You know, that will cause you to make different decisions and things like that. So let's take a listen. So I want to. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to pull those vocals forward. One of my, there's several plugins that I use a lot for compression. One of my favorites is the Arvox, and I just started using it maybe a year ago, year and a half ago, on a regular basis on my vocals. It works. It just works. And let's come down here and grab it. And this will even out any discrepancies I have in the vocals. Also give me more gain.
Now can you sing it, better sing it through all of my guns. Oh yeah. Can you sing it? Now can you sing it, better sing it through all.
So right there, I want to pull that.
You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke?
Okay, I'll pull that up just a little more. And what I'm using here is clip gain if you're using a different DAW than Pro Tools. I'm not to the, and I probably won't do it for this video because this video is already getting too long, but maybe when this ends here, I will go and do automation on this and record it and then put it up. But I'm just getting the basic sounds of it here.
You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick? You gotta tell me, was this just? You gotta tell me.
And I'm going to pull the Arvox over to the background vocals.
You gotta tell me, was this just?
And what I'm going to do is add some top end to those background vocals.
You gotta tell me, was this? You gotta tell me, was.
Okay, and then add some verb, maybe a little more than there is,
You gotta tell me,
and add some of that delay.
you gotta tell me, was this just all a sick? You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke? Now can you sing it, better sing it through all of my guns. Oh yeah. Can you sing it? Can you sing it?
Here we're coming up to a guitar solo. So what I'm going to do here is put a delay right on the channel. I normally don't do this a lot, except for maybe on a guitar solo or even a vocal part that I want a certain effect out of. So I'm going to put the H delay and grab some. Okay, where'd it go? Must not have grabbed it. Delay, H delay, and I'm going to go stereo.
You gotta tell me, was this just all a sick joke?
delay as it's heading to go in. On the lead channel, I'm taking everything from about 112 out. It doesn't need to be there. And there's everything bypassed on the solo. And what I did on the original was do a fade. Okay, so now we pretty much got everything set on most of the individual channels. I think I did most of it. Now what I do is I'll put something on the submix here. We're coming in a little hotter than I like to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and select all, and then I'm going to pull everything down just a few dB. Maybe about right there, and I'm unselect all, and then I'm going to click Alt on the 2 master. Oops. Keyboard's acting up again. Okay. All right, so there we go. We are at Unity on there, the submix and the master. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a plugin called Insight on the Insight 2 from Isotope. That'll just let us know kind of what we're pushing for levels. Okay. All right. So the guitar lead might be a little loud. Now, if I were doing an entire album, I would not put too much on the submix or the master bus because I would do like most of the processing in the mastering stage, which is what I did with this album. So when I'm doing like a track of 10 songs for an album, that my master sounds congruent from song to song, so it doesn't sound like different songs on everything. But for like a one-off mix, I will get my mix sorted to here, and then I will put some stuff on the master bus. But I will automate before I do that. I'm not going to automate in this video. We're just going to get things set to a static mix. And I think what I'll do is after this is done, because this is getting so long, is do another video of this stuff and then automate effects and automate all the other things like the vocals and some of the guitars. So, and drums where it needs to be. So let's continue on here. So what I want to do is I'm going to put a bus compressor on here. Usually I'll use like an FG Red, or let's do, I'm going to stay with the BX Townhouse. That's kind of my compressor. And I'm going to just kind of choose one of the Master Glue. We'll try that one and hear what that sounds like. Okay, what I'm going to do is come here and select all the channels again, minus the submix. And I'm going to create a group, Command G, and that was popping over there. And I'm going to call this all channels except M-Bus. Okay. And I'm going to turn all these up until I get an acceptable level. Start right there. Okay, and then I'm going to take that off. Okay. The other thing I like to do on my mixes is I will put a limiter on here, not because I want limiting, and I'm using Ozone on here, Ozone 9. And the reason I put this on is just to check the delays and the verbs on the vocals and different things. Sometimes when you start hitting it with a limiter, it can really pull out some of the delays and verbs if they're coming in too strong. So let's just check that. So I grouped the basses together so I can control the volume on both channels. So let's go back to close to the beginning. We've pretty much gone through the whole song, and this is my typical process. I will go through it and through basically the way we just did it and get everything set, and then I will start fine tuning everything. So we have let me look how long we've been going. So 119 minutes, almost 2 hours almost, and we have a good basis of a mix. And what I will do from here is get it more polished yet. Now, some groups you work with may not want that polished sound. I have worked with a couple indie bands where they don't want that commercial sound at all. So it was actually kind of difficult to unpolish a sound if you've ever tried to. So, and some of it just happens when you're tracking. So let's just take a quick listen to what we've done here and go from there. Automate this up a little bit. So right there too, when the guitars come in, the that will get automated along with the snare to boost those parts right there. So when you come in, it just comes in pretty hard. So those parts. snare, I'll probably have some stronger reverb effect on there, or something to get it to really pop.
You took some cheap shots at me, babe. Hit low and played me like a guitar. Took my heart and tossed it up in the air. Shot it down, I didn't stand a prayer. Round one goes to you, my love. I'm impressed, and boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was.
So right here, this line, round one for you, my love, or whatever. I'm gonna pop that out.
Yeah. Round one goes to you, my love.
Okay, let's just bring that.
Yeah. Round one goes to you, my love. Hey.
Turn that part down just a little bit. I'm using clip gain. I'm not doing any writing the faders yet because I'm not there.
Hey.
Okay, get that a little bit more.
Hey. Hey.
Let's tighten in here. Hit T. If this box is checked here, you can hit T to tighten in, R to reverse. And what I'm going to do here is adjust the clip gain on these little chunkas. Same with snare. I'm going to turn that sample up just a bit. Yeah, maybe too much. That might be too much there. I want a little more of that guitar. Impressed, and boy, you did your homework. You knew right where my target was. You had quite a little covert. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, you gotta tell me, was this just on a sick joke? Now can you see me through all of your gun smoke? Quick draw, you wave your turn that
guns
breath
in the
part down
air.
right there,
So
yeah.
hard, I swear I gotta beat the gleams in the air. So hard, I swear I gotta beat. Quick draw, you wave.
Right there, I'm going to take that breath thing she does and turn that down a little bit.
Quick draw, you wave your guns in the air. Quick draw.
And that was intentional the day we tracked. That was something that she wanted to add. And I think maybe on the other mix, I might have separated that out to another channel and processed it different. I don't remember now. I'd have to go back and look at that mix session.
Quick draw, you wave your guns in the air. So hard, I swear I gotta beat the gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round two goes to me now. Load a gun and I'm ready to show ya.
Let's hear what this sounds like with all the processing we've done. Bypass.
Step it off and let me pull the trigger.
Okay, let's go to here, and let's listen to this bypass.
Quick draw, you wave your guns in the air so hard, I swear I got a fever. Gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student
my gain staging
turns
structure
into the
changed a little bit. Her
teacher.
vocals a little
Round
louder.
2 goes to me now. Load a gun and I'm ready to show ya just how to light up a dark night. Step it off and let me pull the trigger. Quick draw, you wave your guns in the air so hard, I swear I got a fever. Gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round 2 goes to me now. Load a gun and I'm ready to show ya just how to light up a dark night.
I'm gonna go
Step
put
it
some
off and let me pull
processing
the
on the
trigger.
bus, drum bus here. So boosting that.
You'd think that I learned my lesson, realized to give your bad boys your.
Okay, well, so listen to the drums here, and you can see what the mix bus processing I did here on the very end, what it's doing. This is doing nothing right here, so it's going to make that inactive. But these two, the bus compressor and the sheps.
Quick draw, you wave your guns in the air so hard, I swear I got a fever. Gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher.
Gets it a little more polished, and not a lot of heavy lifting there. Just a little boost at 12K, like 1.5 dB. This 1.6K, about 1.5 dB, is really pulling out the ride cymbal when he goes to the ride on the chorus. And then just boosting the low end a little bit to give it a little more meat.
Quick draw, you wave your guns in the air so hard, I swear I got a fever. Gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round 2 goes to me now. Load a gun and I'm ready to show ya just.
Yeah, so that's the drums.
Quick draw, you wave your guns in the air so hard, I swear I got a fever. Gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round 2 goes to me now. Load a gun and I'm ready to show ya just how to light up a dark night. Step it off and let me pull the trigger.
Listen to just the drums. again, those drums were recorded right in this room here.
Can't give you no room.
Okay, and again, I do have a list of the files. If you want to download the files for this song, they're in the chat to the side there. If you have any questions, let me look at them. I really haven't noticed them until now. So John says, mix sounds really good. Thank you, John. 415. Do I have a school or tutorials? Just on YouTube and my website, recordingcrave.com. A bunch of freebie stuff. And it's growing by the day over there on my website. So, okay. So next thing I want to do is just focus on the bass guitar again. This is considered my second pass. My first pass is getting kind of everything where I'm liking some of the EQs and maybe polishing up the overall sound on the buses that I have for each group. And I keep my buses, everybody does it a little different, but I keep my buses up until I get ready to do the final mix, all right next to each instrument. So like the drums, I have the drum bus there, snare and tom verb there. And bass, same thing. I don't have the basses to an aux because there's only two. If I had like amps with it, then I would put it on maybe an aux. But I just grouped these together so I can move the volumes up and down together. And the guitars, I do have them bussed to a bus, and not a lot of processing on there. Same with vocals, a verb and stuff. And on the original recording, that when you download these files, you'll have the original recording and you can see where it's come from. But I have a lot of effects on the vocals that I don't have on here yet. And I'm not going to get to that on this live video. Otherwise, we would be here even longer. So I'm going to try to wrap this up in another 5 or 10 minutes. I don't know if any of you have any questions on how I do my process or maybe how you would do it different. Feel free to ask, because you know what? Mixing is very subjective. I'm purposely going for a different sound than the original mix that I did. More of a warmer sound, more of a less bright sound, but I still want the brightness, if that makes sense to you. But maybe not across the spectrum. So let's continue on just a little bit longer here. I'm going to maybe mess with the vocals.
Quick draw, you wave your guns in the air. So hot, I swear I got a fever. Gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round two goes to me now. Load a gun and I'm ready to show ya just how to light up a dark night. Step it off and let me pull the trigger.
See, what I did there was I just wanted a little more meat on the guitar, so I basically brought in the Lindell channel and boosted about 700 hertz. I could have done that with any EQ. I like on a track like this, where it's a little dirtier sounding, I like the grit on certain plugins, and this Lindell or the Sheps 73 or any of the 73 stuff from Slate, any of that type of stuff. Those are all good and great for getting a lot of grit, and I really enjoy that. So
Quick draw, you wave your guns in the air so hard, I swear I gotta beat the gleaming sun shining right down on me. Now the student turns into the teacher. Round two goes to me now. Load a gun and I'm ready to show ya just how to light up a dark night. Step it off and let me pull the trigger.
okay, I think I'm gonna about wrap it up here, and you can hear everything in the mix, and nothing's balanced perfectly level with each other. The guitars are a little louder than some things, but the bass has its place, the guitars have their place, the vocals have their place, the drums have their place, and that's what when you mix. One thing that I listen to, and we've been doing this for maybe 2 hours tops at the most for mixing. So, within a matter of 2 hours, I have a pretty decent mix happening right now. Just maybe some fine tuning, and then once you get the fine tuning done, you move to automation. I save automation for very last, because if you start tweaking some things inside an automation, it just makes things very messy if you have to go back and touch things up at all. So I hope this has been helpful. 2 hours, we have a pretty solid mix happening. Pretty pop rock mix, 70s vibe to it. And yeah, and you can download these videos from the little chat on the side. Hey, thanks, John. I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging. I don't know if you're a new subscriber, if you've been with me for a while. I don't know, but thank you so much. And I'll type it in here. I got another computer over here. And yeah, appreciate you hanging today. It's been fun, a little nervous because I haven't gone live. It's like someone standing over your shoulder while you're mixing. And I'm just another mixer on YouTube, but a home studio guy, that's my main emphasis, and how you can get really good sounding recordings in your home. And I'm going to pause and stop the live video, but I'm going to continue on with this and automate and throw the special effects in, and then I will put that up as a separate video, because this one's getting way too long already. And but I sure appreciate you showing up today. It means a lot to me, and hopefully you've subscribed. If you haven't, I would love it if you would, and we will see you in another video. Thanks for hanging today. I enjoyed it. Thanks.